The strain of bird flu that is killing cats in Texas is causing brain hemorrhaging and blindness, Michael Snyder reports. The information that I'm about to share with you is very alarming. According to the College of Veterinary Medicine at Cornell University, even though there are some minor differences, feline lungs and structures just like human lungs are structures just like humans, operating in the same way and serve the same purpose. So the fact that H5N1 has been able to spread into the lungs, brains, and heart and eyes of more than 20 cats in Texas is not a good sign at all. According to the CDC, some of the cats that caught H5N1 at one farm in Texas ended up blind. About 24 farm cats were stricken with H5N1 bird flu after drinking milk from infected cows, leaving some blind and killing more than half. The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, announced the cases this week, revealing that at least 24 cats on a Texas farm experienced depressed mental states, body stiffness, loss of coordination, blindness, circling, and excessive mucus from their eyes and noses. The necropsy, that is of the dead animals, the autopsy that is, necropsy, some that died in as little as 2 days after they fell ill, revealed the virus had spread to their lungs, brains, hearts, and eyes. I did not know that H5N1 can cause blindness, did you? The CDC is also telling us that the bird flu causes brain hemorrhaging in some of the cats. In the cats, scientists found hemorrhaging in the back of their skulls, as well as brain hemorrhaging. Otherwise, though, the animals looked normal. The examination revealed that the cats had microscopic lesions in their brains, lungs, and hearts. If H5N1 can do this to cats, can it also do it to humans? In an article I posted a couple of days ago, I noted that more than half of all human cases of H5N1 since 2003 have resulted in death. Sadly, more than half of the cats that go infected at one dairy farm in Texas also ended up dead. More than half of cats around the first Texas dairy farm to test positive for bird flu this spring died after drinking raw milk from the infected cows, scientists reported this week, offering a window into a toll the virus has taken during its unprecedented spread through the cattle industry. This is an extremely deadly disease. These cats apparently caught H5N1 by drinking raw milk. Scientists tested the cows that produced that raw milk, and they found that some of those cows had tiny lesions in their mammary glands. Following the felines' deaths, the CDC also tested the cows, finding puzzling symptoms as well. Some of them that died were producing normal milk before they succumbed to illness, and some of the cows had tiny lesions in their mammary glands, an unusual symptom. That is certainly very alarming. And scientists have also discovered that the amount of H5N1 in the udders of infected cows is off the charts high. While the contribution of respiratory transmission is still in question, there appears to be little doubt that a lot of spread is happening in milking parlors, where cows are strapped into the milking machines, and that in dairy cows, H5N1 seems to be primarily infecting mammary glands. The amount of virus in the udders of infected cows is off the charts high, making it easy to see how one cow's infection soon becomes a herd's problem. You can imagine that if such a cow is milked in a milking stall, even a few drops of milk remaining on the teat cup, which is used to milk, will then subsequently contaminate the teat of the next cow, said Thij Kieken, a pathologist in the Department of Virus Science at Erasmus Medical Center in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. He says that you can imagine very easily how in the course of a few days the virus could spread very fast among the cows being milked on that farm. Please take a few moments to read those 2 paragraphs. And this is where the milk that you buy from the grocery store comes from. Approximately 1 out of every 5 samples of grocery store milk that the FDA recently tested came back positive, but the FDA claims that it's still safe to drink. Around 1 in 5 samples of milk the Food and Drug Administration checked from U.S. retailers tested positive for H5N1, though the agency said last week that studies so far show that pasteurization is working to kill off viruses in milk. Only harmless fragments remained. Officials have repeatedly urged Americans not to drink raw milk. The good news is that the pasteurization process appears to kill H5N1 in our milk. But now that dairy cows are being infected all over the nation, experts are warning that a strain could potentially emerge that would be very dangerous to humans. It's a numbers game. Although all viruses mutate routinely, flu viruses are particularly good at shape-shifting and can even swap entire chunks of genetic material with other flu viruses if an animal is co-infected with more than one of them. These mutations happen randomly, and most don't make the viruses more dangerous to humans, but it's entirely realistic to imagine that some occasionally do. If that occasionally human-threatening mutation happens to a flu virus that has infected, say, a wild fox, it does not pose a particularly high risk of causing a pandemic among humans. After all, few wild foxes have contact with humans. If it happens in a cow, however, there are far more opportunities for the virus to effectively workshop its new features. People who work on dairy farms are constantly interacting with cows and their milk. They check udders, hook and unhook milk machines, and perform other tasks to take care for the animals. That puts them in a lot of contact with any virus infecting the cows. If the virus were one that did not infect and kill people, or that does not mutate and adapt as easily as the flu does, perhaps it wouldn't be as concerning. But H5N1 does infect people at close proximity to animals, and at least half of the more than 900 people who've been infected with the virus since it came on the scene in 1996 have been a victim to that. And let's hope that H5N1 does not mutate into a form that can spread easily among humans anytime soon. Because if that happens, we will see panic that will far exceed anything that we have witnessed previously. Now that they have tested our milk, U.S. officials are also starting to test grocery store beef. The U.S. government says it will begin testing samples of ground beef at stores in states with outbreaks of bird flu in dairy cows. Federal officials are looking to verify the safety of beef and milk after 34 dairy cattle herds in 9 states and 1 person in Texas tested positive for H5N1 virus since late March. Hopefully, once those tests are completed, we will get some good news about our beef supply. For now, the USDA is assuring us that there are multiple safeguards in place to protect consumers. The USDA said it has a rigorous meat inspection process and multiple safeguards in place to protect consumers in a statement on Monday. The agency said, "We recommend consumers properly handle raw meats and cook to a safe internal temperature." Of course, government officials also told us that the bird flu was being kept out of our milk supply, and now we've learned that about 20% of all grocery store milk does contain fragments of H5N1. For a very long time, scientists have been warning us that H5N1 has the potential to create a worldwide crisis. Will we soon reach that point? The good news is that tremendous amount of research on H5N1 has already been conducted. For example, researchers tell us that Sambucol has shown great promise. Dr. Madeline Mumkuglu works and conducts research at the Hebrew University Hadassah Medical Center in Jerusalem. Retroscreen Virology, a leading British medical research institute associated to Queen's Mary College, University of London, announced that Sambucol was at least 99% effective against the avian flu virus H5N1, and in cell culture significantly neutralized the infectivity of the virus. I think that Sambucol has a great role to play. It really can save lives, Mumkuoglu told Israel 21C. And you may want to bookmark this article so you can remember that later. I've warned my readers over and over again that we are moving into a time when great pestilence will be coming, will be very common. Will H5N1 be one of those great pestilences? I don't know. But I do believe that we should watch H5N1 very closely, because if it starts spreading easily among humans, the death toll could be catastrophic. This is by Michael Snyder on End of the American Dream. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Michael's new book entitled Chaos, available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon, and you can check out his new Substack newsletter right here. About the author, Michael Snyder, extremely controversial new book, Chaos, available in paperback and Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 7 other books available on Amazon, including End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work that he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, The Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. You can connect with Michael on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and share his articles on your own social media accounts. It's definitely a great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.